Hi guys, it's Cindy Leach, your polymer clay tutor, and today in the PcT Test Lab, we're going to answer the question, will Wink of Stella or Wink of Luna work with polymer clay? Now, if you have no idea what Wink of Stella or Wink of Luna is, well, it is a water-based pigment ink brush pen. And it's actually designed for scrapbooking. It's a product made by Kuretake, and it's in the Zig line. And there's two lines of these pens. They're really quite cool. There's the Wink of Stella line, which is a glitter. It's like a glitter ink, and there's lots of different colors. This happens to be clear with kind of a platinum colored glitter in it, and this really wonderful brush tip pen at the top. And then their Wink of Luna line is it's all metallic. So this is actually the gold pen in the line, and they have quite a few colors in each of the line. And being a water-based pigment ink, I figured it would probably work well with polymer clay, so I wanted to test it. So I've got some samples here that I'm going to show you in a second. But first I'll just kind of show you a little bit about how the pens work and what they were designed for. Now, like I said, there's an ink in the pen, and it's like a brush. So I've got a little piece of white paper and a piece of black paper, just so you can see the difference of the two on the two different colors. On white, it's quite clear. You can barely see it, but it just gives a hint of a shimmer on top. On black, it's the same sort of thing. It's this is the clear glitter, so it's got this shimmer to it. But what it's really designed to do is use on top of, like, say, a stamped image. So here I've got like a little strawberry stamped on some clay, and you can just color in the image if you want, give it little highlights. If you want to give the whole thing a sparkle, you can do that, and it's just really subtle and really quite lovely. Now are you going to be able to see that, Doug? How neat that looks? And with the Wink of Luna, and I think of the two between the names. Stella is obviously a star, so stars and glitter, that kind of makes sense, like the sparkles. And then with Luna, I think of the moon, obviously, because that's what Luna means. But then I think of metallic with Luna. But the metallic is a little bit different. It's shiny, but it's not as sparkly. So it has a very metallic kind of look. And the neat thing about these pens is that you can go super fine lines with it, or you can press right down and get really wide brush strokes. So you can do some wonderful painting and all sorts of cool things with it. Now, because it was designed to go on paper, I wanted to test to see if it would work on polymer clay, because paper is obviously absorbent and polymer clay isn't really. So I've got a couple of samples here that I have baked up. Now I only owned the Wink of Luna pen at the time when I did these samples, but the inks are the same. They're based the same way. But I did these back in November, so they're over 6 months old, and I did two sample chips here using Primo clay, and these two sample chips here using souffle clay, just to show that there's a little, to see if there was going to be any difference between a different clay or not. And I also did two samples each. So I did one where I painted onto raw clay and then baked it, and one where I painted onto baked clay already and then just left it. So I can see after 6 months, I can see that it is compatible as far as it's not smudging, it's not sticky, and it's not doing anything odd to it. You can usually tell after 6 months, if it hasn't done anything odd, then it's going to be fine. The one thing I wanted to test, though, was the difference to see how durable it was, because I'm not positive how much binders would be in something like that if it's meant for paper. So I'm just going to scratch it with my nail and see. Now this is the one where I put it on raw, and actually that looks really, really tough. So that's cool. So that's really cool. I was thinking it might lift off a little bit, but that's really tough. So on, it doesn't even look like it needs a coating at all. So on raw polymer clay and baked, so basically it becomes heat set, it works really well. So that's exciting actually. Now let's try the baked sample. This is on Primo, by the way. This is where I put the paint onto a baked piece already. Oh yeah, okay, see that? See it smudging? So it does need that heat set to it to really become bonded with the clay. And that's what I was wondering about, because sometimes an ink like that will just kind of sit on the surface. So it is better suited adding it to the raw clay, painting it on raw clay before you bake it. Now let's see if it's the same thing with the souffle clay. I suspect it would be, but we'll see. Okay, so this is the one that was raw. Yeah, it's really on there really well. It's not scratching up or smudging or doing anything. And let's see on the baked one. It's on there pretty good, but it is smudging a little bit. So if you were going to add this, either of these inks to a baked piece already, you would probably need to seal it. And that was another quick thing that I wanted to test, to see if any sealers would smudge it. So let's take these baked ones, since they did so well. Let's see if sealing it with some Renaissance wax is going to lift up the paint at all. Just take a little bit on this piece of sponge and rub it on. I'm not seeing it really remove anything. Oh, it might if I was to rub really hard. There's a slight, it doesn't seem to be coming off too much, but then I am seeing some color on my felt here, so it's probably lifting it a little bit there. Let's try a different spot on the, well, it's going to even do it more so on here. Yeah, it's going to smear it a lot there. Okay, so on the raw piece, the baked, the Renaissance wax isn't the best option there. Now, and another thing I wanted to try quickly to see if a varnish would smear it or do anything to it. It's always good to test things, you guys. This is Golden's acrylic varnish, polymer varnish. This is the high gloss one. This one's already been diluted. Now, which one, what do I dilute this with? With about 20% water. And okay, so I've just got this on a brush and I wanted to see if it lifts up or does anything. No, it looks really clean. So it doesn't look like it's going to be an issue with varnishes and things, just with the Renaissance wax probably. Now, every product is a little bit different. Now, PYM2, if you had put it on a baked piece, something like PYM2 would be great, because you could just spray it on and it wouldn't disturb it and it would seal it in. So you wouldn't get this smudging thing happening if you decide to use it on a piece that was already baked. Or you could try heat setting it. I'm not positive because I haven't tried that. I'm not positive whether the heat set would make much of a difference if it wasn't on the raw clay or not, because I feel like it might need to bond with that clay during the baking process. But I could be wrong. That would be a fun thing to test as well. So I am excited about this product. I think I actually bought these myself at Michael's, so they're around. You can find them in lots of different places, and they are a really neat little tool. Now, what I could have used it on is something like this. Now, this is like a dogwood flower pendant I did a long time ago, where I used I used Pearl-X powders and things. You could easily use the glitter pen to highlight areas on here around the edges. It'd be a wonderful thing to add to something like these little foxglove earrings. You could put the little sparkles on the inside. Like I said, I would do it all when the clay was raw rather than baked, because we can see that's where it is the most compatible. All right, so I hope this was helpful for you. If it was, do let us know if you like this video. And if you've got a product you'd like me to test with polymer clay, or you've got a technique that you don't understand, or something you just want to learn more about with polymer clay and you haven't found a video on it yet, then make sure to suggest in the comment section below, and maybe we can make a video for you. All right, so we'll see you next time, and bye for now.